Hello, it's Wisdom Wednesdays. I am Ariana Newcomer, Dove Oracle Priestess and certified biofield tuning practitioner, spiritual mentor. And these are just ongoingly intense times, aren't they? Usually I just do a really kind of quick thing for Wisdom Wednesdays. I often don't even think about what I'm going to say until about 10 minutes before I record the video. But these last week and this week, it has felt important for me to be more deliberate and to take more time to really shape what it is that I want to say. And last week, I talked about taking care of our fear. And this is just such a really valuable idea. So I encourage you to watch that if you haven't seen that one. That this is about what do we feed? What is next? We're in our final module of my small group program, the Wise Women Immersion, right now, which is about envisioning what's next, creating a vision for what is next. Now I have all these tools in my toolbox. I've grown this much recently, and now what am I going to do with all of this? And one member told me in her private mentoring session that she was really having difficulty understanding how to create a vision in these times when everything is so different. And it's really true, isn't it? The fear we are experiencing now is not just about the health and economic effects of this pandemic. It's about what the heck is next. Will we go back to life as before, or will everything be different? Will only some things be different? And for those of us who are working and longing for the positive change we need, will we make the change we need? And as a side note, the Wise Women Immersion is now open for the next small group of women to come together to claim your sovereignty, your wisdom, and your voice, and to move to the next level of your spiritual and personal growth. So I'd be delighted to talk with you about it. I will put a link that you can click on to talk with me about it. I'm seeing many messages from spiritual teachers about the opportunities this pandemic presents, and I have shared some thoughts. I shared a couple of weeks ago some thoughts from David Nichol, and I recently read Charles Eisenstein's new essay, The Coronation. I highly recommend it. It's long, but very thoughtful and thought-provoking, and really kind of comprehensive look at what's going on now from a fairly neutral place. But he points out that one of the positive things we're seeing from this is how fast we can mobilize for rapid change. We've been so stuck with a lot of the huge problems that we have, like climate change and illnesses, bad diet, agricultural practices, the starvation and death of millions of children on the planet. But here we are mobilizing, boom, just like this, to handle this COVID-19 pandemic. So Eisenstein says, COVID-19 is showing us that when humanity is united in common cause, phenomenally rapid change is possible. None of the world's problems are technically difficult to solve. They originate in human disagreement. In coherency, humanity's creative powers are boundless. A few months ago, a proposal to halt commercial air travel would have seemed preposterous. Likewise, for the radical changes we're making in our social behavior, economy, and the role of government in our lives. COVID-19 demonstrates the power of our collective will when we agree on what is important. What else might we achieve in coherency? What do we want to achieve, and what world shall we create? That is always the next question when anyone awakens to their power. He uses the word coherency, and you, if you've been following me, have heard me talk about coherence. The New Year's message from my guides for this new year and this new decade is that these are the years of creating coherence. And when we come into coherence within ourselves, with each other as humans, with nature and earth, and with spirit, then we have a much greater ability to actually create the world we desire. So I'm in agreement with him about the coherence here. But I've received another kind of message about this pandemic too. There are other spiritual teachers and others out there talking about this novel virus as a deliberate plot to use a human created virus to create the environment in which to institute greater totalitarian controls. And some of the people putting this message out are people that I love and respect. And a lot of people chime in on the posts that I see about this, saying that they believe it and they're adding more to the story. And here's how it started, and here's this. And there's all this feverish kind of anxiety and intense energy building around us. And this is not a story that I personally am walking in, to let you know. But what I'm seeing, what I'm noticing is that this take on the virus actually feeds the fear and anxiety that the health and economic risks have already intensified. And that intensity of that fear and anxiety could even prevent us from actually creating the positive change we're longing for. And that other spiritual teachers have been saying is the doors have opened to the possibilities for now. Now, the truth is, we really don't know. I don't know if that's a true story, and the people putting out the story don't know either. So we don't like this place of unknowing. We would rather know. We'd like to be sure. We would want to have a story that makes sense out of what doesn't make sense. My guides are always telling me that the place of unknowing is the place to be. It is the place from which creativity arises. It is the place from which possibilities open. And my guides are also always telling me that we have to keep expanding our perceptions, because there's always more that we do not yet understand. That every time we think we know, we need to open to new understandings. So I would encourage us all to just be in that place of unknowing, be willing not to know, and be willing to understand that we don't always understand, and that even what we believe we understand is open to new understandings as we learn more. So my student in the Wise Women Immersion, to help with her visioning, did a reading with the soul collage cards she's made in the Wise Women Immersion. And part of the answer from her inner wisdom and the guidance from the cards was that she can take her time with this visioning. There's no rush. Be in nature, go within, and allow the vision to unfold in its own time. She also got the message that it's okay not to know right now. So I'd encourage us to allow that unknowing, that place of unknowing, as a place of creativity. And it came through again as the still point of the turning world, which has been a theme in some of my other Wisdom Wednesdays from this year. Now, you've probably all heard the parable of the two wolves within. It's usually attributed to the Cherokee. And it goes something like this. A grandfather tells his grandson about a battle that goes on inside people. He said, "The battle is between two wolves inside us all. One is evil. It is anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith." The grandson thinks about this for a minute and then asks his grandfather, "Which wolf wins?" And the grandfather simply replies, "The one that you feed." So my question here is, which story do we feed in these times? Do we feed the stories of evil, separation, and trauma? Or do we take care of our fear, as I talked about last week, so we can feed the story that we have opened a door into great possibility for positive change? that the virus may ultimately have a positive purpose for us, that we are moving through an initiation into the better world that we long for, and that we can, as Eisenstein says, build an intentional society on the love already shining through the cracks in the world of separation. Which story do we feed? Which story are you feeding? What is most helpful? What is most useful for us to feed in these times? Blessings to all of you. See you next time.